My name is Tony Gimignani, and we're going to be doing Roto-Flex Advanced. Here we have our thermostat set at 568. Each decks are relatively different in temperature. This is the top deck, and you'll see it was 570. The two middle decks are not as high in temperature, but they're right about what we want them at, 555, 554. And then the bottom deck is going to be the hottest deck. That's right where your flame is, and that's approximately about 590. A lot of people say you can't use the bottom deck, but I'm going to show you that you can. In the center post, the more your holes are closed, the hotter it'll be. You'll see I have mine adjusted. On some of the older models, you have to adjust them. The newer model of the Roto-Flexes, you don't. They should be the same temperature on all decks. So really it depends on what model you have. This is a 56 model that I'm working with at Paisanos. You'll see it's not completely full, but it's getting there, and what's really important is you want to have your pizzas as close as you can. When you're working a Roto-Flex and it starts getting busier, a 56 can hold 27 larges at once. So I like to make my pizzas on screens. So what I'll do is I'll start them on screens, and when it starts to go to the bottom of the decks, I'll actually start getting rid of my screens as I go, and I'll have a hot box to throw them into. The top cooks the top, the two middles cook the middle, and if you have to use the bottom to finish the bottom. Sometimes you do a quarter turn on the bottom, and I'll show you that later. Here's a different angle. You can see all the pizzas kind of rotating down. I have a cutter next to me that's cutting very, very fast. What's nice about a Roto-Flex is as they make them on one line, they actually put them in on the other door, and then I actually work the other door to take them out. So you have two doors, one door in, one door out. I like that and prefer that much better than having like four decks where you have four doors in, four doors out, and you're doing this as much, capacity as you would. You can cook calzones, strombolis, wings. You can cook pretty much anything in this oven. You're going to see you're going to start working it very, very fast. I'm going to start popping bubbles as I go. I don't dock my pizzas. A lot of people dock pizzas, which helps bubbles. I don't do that in ours, so I actually have a bubble popper that I hang and actually pop the bubbles. It's very important to keep that door up. You're going to lose a temperature if you keep that door down, so it's important to try and keep that door up as much as you can. Even though on busy nights, it's hard to do that, but you'll learn as you go. So you'll see right here, I'm actually taking them off the screens and doing about a half turn on the bottom. So right now I'm throwing them, most of them are off the screens. I'm going to look at the bottom, see if they're okay, and I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to look at that bottom, pull it out, because they're going to cook very, very fast. Remember, that's 590 degrees on the bottom, so they're going to cook quickly. I just pulled out some wings there, cooked them in a skillet. Pop that cheese that I had on the bottom just to cook it on top just a little bit longer or in the middle. And you're going to notice I just kind of grabbed a screen there with my bubble popper because I was kind of in a hurry. So rotation is important. Putting your pizzas next to each other is very important. But we're pulling out a lot of volume in this oven, and it's for a high volume restaurant, it's very, very important. Here's a closer angle. You're going to see some pizzas that have one topping, some pizzas that have almost 10 toppings. There's a 2x2, as you call it in the industry. I actually have two 10-inch pizzas that are side by sides. These decks can hold up to 18 to 20-inch pies. You can get your decks in either steel or in stone, so that's an option you can get in a Roto-Flex. You can get a single door or two doors. You'll see the cheese is coming out great there. Bubbles are kind of coming out, but that's fine. I'll pop them with a bubble popper. I'm using the bottom deck. I have some thin crusts down there. Usually I like to start my thins on the bottom deck so I can get that bottom nice and crispy so it won't be too weak. Here's a further angle you'll see. It's getting pretty busy. You'll see a calzone. That's our style of calzones. And you're going to see a bridge here. Right there is a bridge. If you have a oven that's just way too full and you have no room, some of those strombolis you can actually bridge across one pie to another, and that's what we call it in the industry. You'll see it coming around here again. That's what we call a bridge. Next, I'm going to show you something called over and out. I'm going to have a pepperoni that I'm going to grab. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the second deck. On the third deck, I'm going to actually have a screen. I'm not going to have time to remove that screen, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that pepperoni right here, put it on top of that screen, slide it out, and throw it in a hot box. But my pepperoni's still on the screen. Here we have some wings. They look perfect. They come right out of the oven. They're hot. You cook them in a skillet, and you just put them to go or put them for dining. Here you have a nice shot of all of my pizzas coming around. You can see all the decks pretty much full. And here we have the Roto-Flex Advanced.